What's that?
Are there any guests?
Yes, there is. We do have I think about 9 guests.
Good.
Some of them have a name, some of them do not. It's just a mobile number.
I have a question. This is Peter.
Yeah, go for it.
My understanding is we've had only one person.
The recording has started. This session is no longer being recorded.
Sorry, Peter.
The recording has started.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. My understanding is the city received only 2 applications, only one of which arrived before or during February 28th. Is that the case? Could you enumerate the letters of interest that the city has received for the position of mayor, please?
Yes, I could. So you are correct. We put an ad in the paper and had a day that we wanted those letters of interest submitted by, and I had put mine in after that date, not realizing that I had. So I have since pulled that letter of interest out of the file. I didn't want any conflict or anything in the regards to that. So I have since pulled my letter. So that just leaves one letter of interest that remains, and that was submitted to the city before the date that we had in the paper.
Thank you for that clarification.
You bet.
My understanding is that the one application the city received before the 28th of February, or perhaps before the 29th, I should say, was Denisa Holland. Is that the case?
That is correct, yes.
And if Denise is on the line with us, if it's appropriate, I'd like to have her come on and speak for a minute or two and share with us her background and work experience and so on.
Okay, I think I can do that. Give me a minute to make sure I can figure it out here. Denisa, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay. She's on there, Peter.
Good. Did you hear my request, Denisa? We'd be very interested to hear a little bit about your background here. We've known you for a long time, but we don't know what your background is.
Both medical and farming. Grew up on a farm my whole life, farmed. I've had my own business for the last 20-some years, and in both construction and in cosmetology. I've been a bookkeeper for several different companies. I worked in the medical field at Sacred Heart Hospital and in-home care. I worked with the blood bank there, driving bus and drawing blood.
So you have a pretty broad background, it sounds like.
I do.
Have you ever worked for government or been in a supervisory position in government or an elected position?
Not in the government end of it, no. I was involved with the Spangle Service Club for many years. It'd be like your Lions Club or something like that there in Spangle, and been very involved with that and community services and all of that kind of stuff. We did the auction there in Spangle, which this year is the first year it's been had to be canceled. But a girlfriend and mine, we completely did the whole computer program for the auction and ran that whole thing, just the two of us, for a very long time. No, I've done an awful lot of things. What else, I guess, would you like to know?
Sounds like you have a lot of good experience. Your background seems to be as broad as my own.
I've done a lot of things.
Yeah. Could you address for a moment, Denisa, why it is you'd like to be mayor? What are some of the things you'd like to do?
You know, I just see a lot of growing. The town could grow a lot. I just think that they've had a lot of problems trying to find somebody that actually cares and wants to put forth the time, and I just thought that I could maybe fit into that and help grow the community and bring positivity into the whole town. And I have different ideas on different things and overseeing things and organizing things, and I have got a few ideas that could help maybe the city, and with money and income wise and stuff like that. So I'd like to put forth.
And do you have current outside responsibilities with business or farming?
More farming. I farm with David.
Okay. Thanks very much for that, Summer.
You're welcome.
Does anyone else on the council have any questions for Denisa?
I had a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Not for Denise, just a general question, but I'll wait.
That's fine. I think there's a little bit of lag time in our phone, but I don't want to try to talk over anyone.
What's your question, please, Justin?
Nathan or Janice, in your talks with the MRSC or the attorney or AWC, any of those resources, did they say that we had to, if no one else had put their name in via that request in the paper, that was our only option for applicants, or could we still as a council consider other people?
Yeah, so in those talks with them, they told us that we could, in fact, appoint somebody else. They did not have to submit a letter or anything formally. We just asked for that, kind of as a way to see if there was other interested parties. They informed us that the council is allowed to appoint somebody, and they can then choose to say yes or no. I think I actually did that with you maybe in the December meeting or January meeting, and you just declined it. And so you can do that either way.
All right. So, and speaking of that, then, I know you had a letter in and rescinded it from making sure that it was in by the correct, or the date that we had published, but are you still interested in continuing on if you had that opportunity?
Yes. Yep, I'm still interested. I made a mistake on the date, getting that letter in after when the city chose to have a soft deadline to have that letter in, so I wanted to rescind that letter just to make sure that there was no conflict there, and spoke with a few people on that subject, and they said that was fine. That would work okay if I were to still be interested, not having that letter of interest in.
Question.
Right.
This is
And then similar to, I guess, what Peter said or asked Denisa, I guess what is your interest then, or why are you still interested in being, or obviously you've been doing it for 2 months, but what you want to do it for the next 2 years, so can you give us a brief overview on that?
Yeah, I have a lot of similar things that Denise has said. A lot of interest in the community, with living here and trying to help out any way I can. That's the sole reason that I chose to express interest for the city council in the original the original time that I expressed interest for that. Just solely to help where I can, involved in a lot of other clubs and organizations through the city and outside of the city as well, just to volunteer and try to help out the community. And my main interest in this would just be to continue that volunteering time and continue that time of helping the city in a bigger fashion. When I try to do something, I put all my heart and soul into it. So I guess that's the main reason that I want to do it.
This is Peter. I have a question. I spoke too with MRSC with Sarah Dorr, with whom Janice also spoke. In fact, I got her name and number from Janice. Janice City Clerk, I should stipulate that. And it was my understanding from my 2 conversations that I had with that in order to be able to legally consider an applicant who submitted a letter of application or a letter of interest after the published deadline, we would have to find those parties who had submitted letters of interest prior to the deadline unfit for the or inadequate for the position. But in my view, we're not able to do that in this case. We have an applicant who has impressive credentials for the job, it appears to me.
So, Peter, to answer your question to the best of my knowledge, I guess I didn't perceive the same thing from when I had spoke with them, as far as being able to take any interested party for the position, and then being able to have the council appoint that person at their will, and then obviously make a motion and vote and so forth, go about it the proper way. But yeah, I didn't really perceive that we first had to do that. I think it's just up to the council.
Yeah. Well, I understood her to say that we had to first address those people who had submitted letters of interest prior to the deadline. And after that, we could consider other applicants.
Right, and to what you're saying, I think we have done that just here in this meeting since we've been on the phone with speaking with both of us, that we can move forward.
And another question I have, will we go through a nomination process, or how does the chair propose we do this? And the second and related question is, does the chair have the authority to vote in the matter, since the chair is one of the nominees or one of the parties who's expressed?
So the first question I would answer, it's just would go along with anything else that we do as a council moving forward. Somebody would make a motion to appoint, and then we would vote on that. If that, depending on how that vote goes, I think that me as a council member, I could vote. However, I think it would be better interest of me not to vote, to abstain from that vote, to allow you guys to make that decision.
Yeah. I concur with that perception. I think that's a good plan.
And I would, in fact, do that. I will abstain from the vote.
Is Levi on the line?
I am.
4 members here.
Yes, we do. I'm here.
Hi, I hadn't heard your voice. Thank you.
Real quick, to Peter, this is Justin. When I was appointed mayor, I had the same luxury of being able to vote, but I abstained just because it was my own vote. So, I mean, that's last time anyway.
Yeah. So are we going to nominate or go through a nomination process?
Yes, if you have all your questions answered and the rest of the council does as well, I would call for a motion on the matter.
I would make a motion, if I may. I would move to appoint Nathan Luck as the mayor of the city of Harrington. This is Levi Shank.
Are we going to nominate candidates and vote on after all are nominated? Or what's the proper procedure here? Because I'm prepared to nominate Denise Holland for the position of mayor.
Okay, Levi just made a motion, so let's go through one motion at a time, and then depending on how the vote turns out, we can go from there, and then you would be able to make your motion.
Okay.
Levi will need a second to vote on his motion, so let's go with that one first, and then we can move forward.
This is Justin. I'll make that second.
Okay, we have a motion by Levi to appoint myself as the mayor of the city of Harrington, and seconded by Justin Slack. I will call for all in favor votes at this time. Please state your name when you vote.
Well, real quick, Nathan, you'll need to ask for discussion first.
Oh, I apologize. You're correct. Is there any more discussion?
I would just say, as a seconder of the motion, I think obviously you've stepped into that role, 2 months ago-ish or whatnot. You've been on the council for more than a year now, you're on the council for almost 2 years. And so I think, obviously you have, I say an advantage, but obviously being in that role now, you've been obviously making those connections with the state agencies and our county agencies. And so I just think that it makes sense, given our situation in the position we've already been in. So.
Okay, thank you. Peter, is there any more discussion about the motion from you?
No, I've spoken my piece. Thank you.
Okay. Levi, how about yourself?
I have nothing more to say.
Can hardly hear you, Levi.
Oh, I have nothing further.
Thank you.
Okay. With no more discussion, I will now call for a vote on the motion of appointing myself as the mayor of City of Harrington. Please state your name when you vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
This is Levi. Aye.
This is Justin. Aye.
This is Nathan. I'm abstaining from the vote.
This is Peter. I'll abstain as well.
Okay.
So that's a tie.
It's a tie.
And the mayor can actually vote to
break the tie.
break the tie.
Yeah, but I don't.
You might want to explain to him with the abstention. Peter, with your abstention, that brings us to a tie.
There are 2 yeas and 2 abstentions. Is that a tie?
I believe so, yes. If you can, what would be your opposition to voting no instead of abstention?
Well, I don't wish to vote against the candidate who's under consideration. But I'm also, I have chosen to abstain because I'm a little unclear as to whether we proceeded in a proper fashion. It appears to me we've failed to consider a candidate who seems to be well qualified for the position, highly motivated. We have anybody who knows parliamentary procedure to know whether 2 ayes and 2 abstentions is normally a tie. If it were 2 nays, it would be a tie.
Correct. I do not. We will try to find out here real quick what happens, what the procedure is for 2 abstentions and 2 yes votes.
Okay. What's the procedure for contact and parliamentary? Is anybody skilled enough in this matter to be able to resolve it for us?
I'm reading Robert's Rules of Order in brief right now. And the question says, do abstention votes count? I'm looking at that now.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm going to read this out loud for everybody.
Okay.
Question, it's like a frequently asked questions. Do abstention votes count? Answer. The phrase abstention votes is an oxymoron. An abstention being a refusal to vote. To abstain means to refrain from voting, and as a consequence, there can be no such thing as an abstention vote. In the unusual situation where either a majority vote or a 2/3 vote is required, abstentions have absolutely no effect on the outcome of the vote, since what is required is either a majority or 2/3 of the votes cast. On the other hand, if a vote required a majority or 2/3 of members present, or a majority of 2/3 of the entire membership, an abstention will have the same effect as a no vote. Even in such a case, however, an abstention is not a vote. That's according to Robert's Rules of Orders, 10th edition, page 387, 388, and 390. So that says that
They're not votes.
correct.
The majority carried today. And it's a simple majority vote that's all that's required.
Yeah, that sounds like what Justin read. Would you agree with that, Justin?
Yeah, yes, I think that in the usual situation where either a majority vote or 2/3 is required, abstentions have absolutely no effect on the outcome of the vote, since what is required is either a majority or 2/3 of the vote cast.
So we got the majority.
So,
Yeah.
then I would say that the motion carries 2-0-2.
Because we've
That's my interpretation of what you read.
That is as I understand it as well. This is Levi.
okay.
Are we in agreement that the motion carries?
I am.
I would agree. This is Justin. I would say yes. I would say the motion carries.
Okay. Any other business?
I don't believe so. That was the only agenda item.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations to all candidates who expressed interest in the job.
Okay. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to open all the microphones for attendance. If you could just please state your name for the minutes.
Hi, this is Katie Teachout with the Ritzville Adams County Journal.
Thank you.
Okay, congratulations, Nathan.
Thank you.
This is Richard Gansky, resident of Harrington.
Thank you.
Chris Mead, resident of Harrington.
Thank you.
Joe Carmon, resident of Harrington.
Thank you.
Scott McGowan, City of Harrington.
Okay, thanks, Scott.
Orange Womack, Mullet.
Thank you.
Stephen
Denise
Hardy.
Halling.
Okay, we got you, Denisa. Somebody else tried to chime in there.
Stephen Hardy.
Stephen Hardy.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Is that everybody?
What was Katie's last name?
Is there Katie on the conference call?
Katie Teach out from the Rootsville Adams County Journal.
She spell her last name?
Could you spell your last name for us, please?
Yeah, it's like teacher outside, teach out, T as in Thomas, EACHOUT.
Okay, thank you. We just want to make sure we got it correct. Okay, at this point, 6:30, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
This is Levi. So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Levi.
I'll second Peter.
Peter seconds it. Any discussion? All in favor of adjourning the meeting, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you guys for bearing with us on our first conference call meeting. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Muted.